يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون ومن يتول الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا فإن حزب الله هم الغالبون. وقال تعالى ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أندادا يحبونهم كحب الله والذين آمنوا أشد حبا لله. وقال تعالى قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم. قل أطيعوا الله والرسول فإن تولوا فإن الله لا يحب الكافرين. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحب الله لما يغذوكم من نعمه وأحبوني لحب الله وأحب أهل بيتي لحبي. وقال عليه السلام ثلاث من كن فيه وجد بهن حلاوة الإيمان أن يكون الله ورسوله أحب إليه مما سواهما وأن يحب المرء لا يحبه إلا لله وأن يكره أن يعود في الكفر بعد إذ أنقذه الله منه كما يكره أن يقذف في النار. وقال عليه السلام لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وبلده والناس أجمعين أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ما قال ربنا وخالقنا ورازقنا من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. सब दुरूद शरीफ पढ़ें. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद कमा सल्लैता अला सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम व अला आलि सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद. अल्लाहुम्मा बारिक अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद कमा बारकता अला सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम व अला आलि सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद. बलगल उला बिकमालिही कशफत दुजा बिजमालिही हसनत जमीउ खिसालिही सल्लु अलैहि व आलिही. वो चले बुराक पे जिस घड़ी तो जमीन के बाद हवा में थी, रही पीछे थक के हवा इधर तो हवा से बढ़ के फजा में थी. हुई दम जदन में फजा भी तय तो फजा से कुर्ब समा में थी. कशिश और बढ़ गई इश्क की तो समा से कुर्ब खुदा में थी. Respected elders, brothers, friends, I'm going to speak in English. Why is some people running around? भागना क्यों शुरू कर दिया? तो बैठो यार, little bit of patience is needed, man. सब्र नहीं है लोगों, बेसब्री हो गई है. First of all, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all Allah's ni'mats and blessings. May Allah give us tawfiq to do proper shukrs. Amen. We thank Allah for His ni'mat of giving us tawfiq to pray Asr Salat with Jama'at and tawfiq to sit in the Masjid after Asr. The time between Asr and Maghrib is extremely precious. We should try and spend in the Masjid, do some zikr azkar, because Allah wants us to do His zikr in this time. This is why Allah said, no nafil. Nafil is makruh after Asr until Maghrib, after Fajr until Tulu Shams. Allah said, you can pray nafil salat throughout the day, but this time is for my zikr. And we are sitting in the house of Allah. This majlis is also inshallah majlis of zikr, because we are not talking about dunya, we are not talking about football, Coventry United 4-3. चलो अच्छा होता जीत जाते तो फैमिली जाने को मिलता तुमको. We're not talking about खाना पीना food, we're not talking about tijarat business, we're talking about Allah and His Rasul. And this is also zikrullah, zikrul Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So The time we spend here is extremely precious, especially when our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Ahabbul biladi ilallahi masajiduha wa abghadul biladi ilallahi aswaquha." This is the most beloved spot on the face of the earth to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah loves masajid. Because in masajid there is salah, tilawat, zikr, remembrance of Allah. So Allah loves the masjid. So you are on the best spot. So Alhamdulillah, you are doing zikr of Allah. This is your most precious time. If you go home, you're going to do things here and there, time is going to be wasted. And life is extremely precious. We can't waste our lives. I was mentioning at the academy that, they give us unlimited data on our mobiles, unlimited minutes, unlimited text, unlimited this, unlimited that. But our life is limited. How can we spend our limited life on those unlimited minutes and text and social media? People today stay on social media for hours. 8 hours, 10 hours is regular, normal. Some go up to 15 hours. One of our S.A.W at our academy, did some survey, and one youngster said he's on the phone for 17 hours a day. Imagine 17 hours a day. How much life is wasting away, melting away. So you sit here for a few minutes between Asr and Maghrib. It's very valuable time you're spending here learning something about Deen. May Allah give me tawfiq to say something which is beneficial for all of us. I thank Hazrat Maulana Ibrahim Sir for arranging this program, the committee members for allowing us to hold this program. And also I thank him for keeping the topic open. You can talk about whatever you want. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it causes more confusion. Sometimes you give you a topic that's better. It's a bit easier. But Maulana Sahab said you can talk about you, whatever you want. Alhamdulillah, since yesterday we've been talking about Salat ala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We talked about Qasidatul Burda after Fajr Salah. And we read some couplets from there about Ishq of Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In the afternoon, we had the lesson on Al-Awa'il Al-Sumbuliyya. And now we had Dars of Sahih al-Bukhari. So the theme is all about Allah Rasul, the love of Allah and His Rasul. Hence I recited to you some ayat and ahadith with regards to the subject of loving Allah and loving Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ishq ilahi or ishq Rasul. We need to talk about this. Because when we fall in dunya, we talk about other stuff, we forget Allah, we forget Rasulullah. And when we don't talk about them, we are absent-minded. They slip away. We only talk about the things that we love. Maybe a child, a toddler loves his toys. Well, before there were toys, now there's games. They run after their parents' mobiles or and I don't know how they unlock the phone, but I नहीं चलता. ऐसा लगता है माँ के पेट से सीखा है. They learn something in the mother's womb. फट छोटी उंगलियां इतना fast यार हमारा दिमाग चकर जाता है. So kids now on mobile phone. Before they used to have toys, they used to go out, play, jump up and down in the park, climb trees, get injured, break bones as well, and then get better as well. That was much better, stronger kids. They get up to a mobile, they're sitting on the mobile all the time, wasting time. And then we have youngsters who fall into love with other stuff. Maybe school, homework, this, that, tension. They grow up, then get job, flashy cars, or nice cars, BMW, or Mercedes, Ferrari, Dodge, and then maybe fall in love. Allah bachaye, astaghfirullah. Haram love, should avoid haram love. Halal, marriage, nikah, that's the best life, most suitable life. And then when you get old, you want, houses, properties, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, old Buddhas sitting so far, reclining, mashallah, looking at everything. Allah mentioned this in the Quran as well. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد. 4 stages of our lives. The Urdu poet says, तुझे पहले बचपन ने बरसों खिलाया, जवानी ने फिर तुझको मजनू बनाया, बुढ़ापे ने फिर आके क्या क्या सताया, अजल तेरा कर देगी बिल्कुल सफाया, जगह जी लगाने की दुनिया नहीं है, ये इबरत की जा है, तमाशा नहीं है. So these are the stages of our life. We have love for various things throughout the various stages of our life. But the main love is of Allah and Rasul, and we forget that. This is why Quran Hadith remind us that the attention of our love should be focused on Allah and His Rasul. That is called ishq haqiqi, and all the rest is ishq majazi. Allah's love, Rasulullah's love is the real love. Is the real love, real muhabbat. All the other are unreal, just superficial, temporary. This is the love which will stay with us in dunya, in qabr, in Maidan Hashar, on the day of Qiyamah, and inshallah in Jannat as well. This is the haqiqi and true and real love. So, Quran talks about it. Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَندَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. There are some people who take others as rivals unto Allah, leaving aside and neglecting Allah. And they love them as the love of Allah, meaning as they should love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They love the idols. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. As for those who have Iman, they are more strong in their love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is narrated in Tafasir that in Medina Sharif there was this old man. He had an idol. Now youngsters who had embraced Islam, Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu and his friends, they were 18, 19. They tried to speak to the old man. Why are you worshipping this idol, man? What does the idol do for you? He doesn't do anything. Why are you worshipping the idol? He said, no. Our forefathers have been worshipping the idol. We have to worship it. So they saw that he's not understanding. So one night when he was sleeping, they sneaked in his house and stole the idol. And they took it, dragged it to some tip and threw it with the dirt and the filth and pakhana and tatti and everything. So when the old man woke up in the morning, he went to look around for it. And he went here and there and frantically, oh, where's my God, where's my God, where's my God, where's my idol? And he found it, who did this to you? It was heavy, so he somehow carried it, dragged it, pulled it, brought it home, cleaned it, washed it, and put it there, and he started worshipping it. So the youngsters saw that he's not understanding. So next day, they take the idol and they tie it and they hang it upside down in a well. So the old man next day, he goes out frantically looking for it, and he sees here and there, someone tells him you might be there in that well. And he says, oh, now he barely manages to pull it out. The struggle brings it home. Again, the third night, they just take him far away and throw him somewhere. He goes around looking here and there, and he goes there, he sees that it's been broken into some pieces as well. So he kicks the idol and he says, if you can't protect yourself, how am I going to protect you now? Forget it. You are God and you can't look after yourself, how am I going to look after you? And he comes and he declares Kalme Shahadat. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sometimes you need a kick up the backside. The youngsters gave him that kick up the backside. Now he used to love the idol. يحبونهم كحب الله. But his love faded away when he faced those struggles. That's not real love. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those who have iman in their hearts, they would never give Allah. They would be dragged on the scorching heat of Makkah and beaten up, and they would still be saying, Ahad, 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 Ahad. Allah is one, Allah is one, Allah is one, Allah is one. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasul said, وَكَذَلِكَ الْإِيمَانِ إِذَا خَالَطَ بَشَاشَتُهُ الْقُلُوبِ. When the bashashat of iman enters the heart, there's no question of it leaving. It keeps on increasing. Today as well, we need that bashashat of iman. Sometimes we lose track, we go off track. We go here and there, we see YouTube videos, we see some objections of Deen Islam, and our yaqeen becomes dhulmul yaqeen, here and there swaying. And then our youngsters, billah, leave iman. May Allah protect them, may Allah bring them back. So you need that bashashat of iman to enter the heart. When that enters, it seems that these youngsters did not get that bashashat of iman, that flexibility, that ease, that special connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that bashashat of iman. That will come when you increase the love of Allah. Then, love of Rasulullah. We are human beings. We need someone to see with our eyes, and we learn from them. Everybody has someone whom they idolize, they like, they love. Football players, they have football players whom they love. Liverpool loves Salah, Mo Salah. I'm not talking about Mas. Mo Salah. And others have City, have their players. Now that even Coventry were drawing, someone put video on Twitter, this kid, as they asked him, who's your favorite player in United? He said, none of them. Why? They're all crap. So, people have their, some people love films, movies, they have their film stars. People love songs, they have their pop stars. So, Shaitan pulls us towards these superficial things and puts it in their love because they're before our eyes. So, Allah gave us Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam to keep in front of our eyes. He told us that He is your role model. لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. He is your uswa hasana. You should always keep him in front of your eyes. You should learn about him, study his sirah, study his shama'il, study his akhlaq, his behavior, his way of dressing, clothing, eating, drinking, sleeping. Study all that and emulate him, copy him, be like him, look like him, behave like him. He is your role model. Your hairstyle should be like his. Your facial hair, your beard should be like his. Your libas should be like his. Your qameez should be like his qameez. Your head should be covered like he used to cover it. Head cover is sunnah. Imamah is greater sunnah. The shimagh is also sunnah. So cover yourself like he used to cover. And sleep like him on the right side with the du'as. Ayatul Kursi. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Allahumma khini azabak yawma tab'athu ibadak. When you wake up, alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi nushur. When you enter the toilet, bismillah. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'ith. When you exit, alhamdulillah alladhi adhaba anni al-adha wa afani. When you do wudu, remember the du'as of wudu. Allahumma ighfir li dhanbi wa wasi' li fi dari wa barik li fi rizqi. Bismillah, start with Bismillah, and then dua, and then finishing dua, Allahumma wudu, Allahumma ij'alni min at-tawwabin, waj'alni min al-mutatahhirin, waj'alni min ibadika as-salihin. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. No du'as, learn all the du'as which he used to make. And then you start your tahajjud namaz, dua of tahajjud. After tahajjud, du'as, many du'as. Hizbul Azam is a great example of the du'as he used to make, filled with Muslim du'as. And then tahajjud, and then fajr, and then zikr, azkar, awrar, wazaif. Read those wazaif. This is his lifestyle. Behave like him, be like him. And then your daily schedule. Al-Yawmun Nabawi, read Al-Yawmun Nabawi, how his daily schedule was. So he should be your role model. You will only take him your role model when you love him. If you don't love him, you won't take him your role model. You will love others, you will make them your role model. Allah is telling you to take your Nabi as your role model. And this is why in the ahadith, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stresses on this. He said, أَحِبُّ اللَّهَ لِمَا يَغْزُوكُم مِّن نِعَمِهِ Mishkatul Masabih. Love Allah because of the ni'mats He feeds you. He gives you food, drink, clothing, peace of mind, sukoon. His ni'mats, His blessings are showering upon you. So love Allah because He created you. He is your Rabb. Love Him. And أحبوني لحب الله. Love me for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you love Allah, then you love me because I am Rasulullah. Allah told you to love me. So because of the hukm of Allah, because Allah has told you to love me, أحبوني لحب الله. And then He said, وأحب أهل بيتي لحبي. Love my Ahl Bayt, my family members, for my love. If you love me, you love my family as well. And family, some people restrict the family to 5. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein. Why restrict it? Why narrow the family down? Are his 9 wives, 11 wives not his family? Are his uncles and cousins, aunties not his family? All Banu Hashim clan, whoever embraced, they are all Ahlul Bayt. That included in there as explained in the hadith of Sahih Muslim. وَنِسَاؤُهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِ. In fact, Nisa come forth, wives come forth because they live in the same house. Quran said, Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu alaykum ahlal bayt, innahu hamidun majid. And that was addressed to Hazrat Sarah, the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam. She is regarded Ahlul Bayt Ibrahim. So wife comes first, and then daughters come, and then the sons and grandsons and grandchildren and others. So Rasulullah's Ahlul Bayt is broad. He said, Ahibbu Ahlul Bayti. Love all my family members, my wife as well, Aisha, Hafsa, Zainab, and all Azwaji Mutahharat, my daughters, not just Fatima, Hazrat Zainab, Hazrat Ruqayya, Hazrat Kulthum and their children, and Hazrat Abbas and his children, Abdullah ibn Abbas and all his family, and Huzur's aunties, Hazrat Safiya binti Abdul Muttalib who embraced Islam, Hazrat Umayma binti Abdul Muttalib, her children. So all the family members who had embraced Islam, they are all included in the Ahlul Bayt. So أحبوا أهل بيتي لحبي. Love them as well because of my love. If you love me, you love them. And then he mentioned in other places, ثلاث من كن فيه وجد بهن حلاوة الإيمان. 3 things, whoever brings those 3 in him will feel the halawat, sweetness, mitas, lazzat, taste of iman. This is not physical lazzat, this is spiritual lazzat, spiritual halawat that you feel in your heart. Halawatul iman. أن يكون الله ورسوله أحب إليه مما سواه. Allah, Rasul become more beloved to him than everything else, the whole world. Everything is second, Allah first, Rasulullah first. وَإِن يُحِبَّ الْمَرْءَ لَا يُحِبُّهُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. And you love a person, you only love him for the sake of Allah. Today, we love one another for our gharaz, motives. But you have no motive. You love your Muslim brother for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And يُحِبَّ الْمَرْءَ لَا يُحِبُّهُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. He's my Muslim brother. I love him. No racism. No to all the other things. No color. No other behaviors. We are all Muslims, whatever color, whatever background, whatever country, whatever area. We all come under one umbrella. La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. They are all Muslim brothers. إنما المؤمنون إخوة لا فضل لعربي على عجمي ولا لعجمي على عربي إلا بالتقوى إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. So we have to have that. If we have that brotherhood, our society will be so nice and clean and pure. Our masjid, everybody loves one another for the sake of Allah. No fights, no grudges, no hasad, no jealousy, no ill feelings, no rancor. We are all clean-hearted, pure-hearted, and we love one another. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. One of you cannot be a perfect believer until you love for your Muslim brother what you love for yourself. You want everything good for yourself, you want everything good for your Muslim brother as well. This is the second quality. If you want halawatul iman, you need to have this in you. أن يحب المرأة لا يحبه إلا لله. أن وأن يكره أن يعود في الكفر بعد إذ أنقذه الله منه كما يكره أن يقذف في النار. And you hate being driven into kufr as you would hate being thrown into fire alive. If there was a bonfire up there and few gundas, mustandas grab hold of your hands and feet and they're going to throw you in that bonfire, you're going to scream, "Bachao, bachao, help, 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 I don't want to die, please save me, please save me." That's natural reaction. So if kufr is there and you are being lured into kufr, you scream and you run away from that kufr. You hate kufr. You hate becoming kafir. You hate disbelief. أن يكره أن يعود في الكفر. Kufr. Remember that. It's not about kafir, kufr. We are not talking about some, being, na'udhu bad things to someone. This is dislikeness for kufr, shirk, the fair, the act, the fisq, the fujur, the zina, the sharab, the liwat, the drugs, the bad habits. This is what we should dislike. If the person does tawbah, he can be better than us. So we don't hate the person, we hate the act. So أن يكره أن يعود في الكفر بعد إذ أنقذه الله منه كما يكره أن يقذف في النار. If you have these three qualities, then you will feel the halawat of iman. What is this halawat of iman? Imam Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi in Sharh Muslim said, استلذاذ الطاعات واستقباح المعاصي. That when you have these three in you, you will feel the ta'at and ibadat, laziz and pleasurable. And you will feel the ma'asi and sins as qabih and ugly and dirty and filthy. Zina, liwat, sharab, drugs. You will hate it when you have that in you. But if you don't have these in you, then you won't like ibadat, you will like the sins and the ma'asi. Because you will be surrounded by them, you will fall for them, you'll do those things. This reminds me of this. What Maulana Hashim Sahib once narrated. This person in our, Asian, Indian areas, never used to come masjid for namaz. He didn't like namaz. He was being namazi. He had cattle, cows, buffaloes. He used to take them and make money of them. He was busy in dunya, paisa, like we are our condition today. We pray when it's convenient for us. We miss salah when it's inconvenient. He was like that as well. So one day he was taking his buffaloes and cows for grazing, and the masjid gates were open, like in our Indian, Pakistani areas. The gates are sometimes open. So one of the cows and buffaloes just entered the masjid. He went after her to take the animal out, and it ran around here and there, and it dirtied all the carpet and the masjid and everything. And the people of the village saw that, and they ran, and they, somehow drove the best buffalo out of the masjid, and they started, shouting at him, screaming at him, scolding. Hey, you don't control your animals, and you did. And when people said too much, he said, "Hey, bye." These animals, they don't understand. That's why they came to the masjid. I understand how I have come to the masjid. I am a wise man. I never come to the masjid. These buffaloes and cows, they have no sense, they don't understand, that's why they come to the masjid. This is our behavior with regards to those who come to the masjid. People who are on the other path, what do they say when they see someone going masjid? वो पागल आदमी masjid जा रहा है, वो fool है, हर वक्त masjid भागता रहता है. He's always running to the masjid. This happens when the heart rots up, when the heart dies. Qalb is dead, then you love sins and you hate ibadat and ta'at. You only come to masjid Jummah or Eid. You never read Quran, you never touch the Quran. You never read any tasmeehat, azkar, awrad. You have no love for Allah, Rasul. May Allah protect us from the dying of the heart. Our heart should be alive and kicking. As Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مَثَلُ الَّذِي يَذْكُرُ رَبَّهُ وَالَّذِي لَا يَذْكُرُ رَبَّهُ كَمَثَلِ الْحَيِّ وَالْمَيِّتِ. The condition of a zakir and ghafil is like that of a person who's alive and a dead person. A person who's alive is moving around, a dead person is lifeless. So if you don't remember Allah, your heart is dead. Your heart is dead. You don't feel like doing anything good. So one meaning Imam Nawawi said of halawatul iman is that when you have these three in you, you will love good amal because you love Allah, so you love worshipping Him. You love Rasulullah, so you love following His sunnah, reading salat and salam and durood upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You love one another, so you will fulfill all the huququl ibad and rights of your family, your parents, your wife, your children, your relatives, those around you, your friends. You will be, abiding by all the agreements, contracts, muamalat, your akhlaq, your muamalat, your muasharat, your social life. Everything will be on track. And because you hate kufr, you won't become kafir, inshallah. So you will get the halawat of iman in your heart. Number 2, Arif Ibn Abi Jamrah says that Ahlullah say that this halawat is not just spiritual ruhani, it's physical as well. You can feel it, you can taste it. He says just as you can taste some nice, sweet, delicious food on your tongue. The tongue is the one which tastes the food. You're not your hand. Your hand can't tell this is sweet or sour. Allah Pak has kept that sense on the tongue. Similarly, the heart, Allah has kept a special feature in there where it can taste the sweetness of iman. And Ahlullah used to feel that sweetness. They used to feel it, express it. They used to love it. They craved for it. They got it, the spiritual, what you can say, the lazzat, the real lazzat, the haqiqi lazzat, the haqiqi halawat. This is why Ibrahim ibn Adham rahmatullahi alayhi said, Ahlul layli fi laylihim aladhu min ahli lahwi fi lahwihim. Those who spend the night in worship and ibadat get more lazzat and halawat and taste in their ibadat than those who are busy in their amusements and entertainments throughout the night. They won't get that lazzat and pleasure which Ahlul layl fi laylihim. Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullah alayhi used to say, Inna lafi lazzatin law alimaha al-muluk lajadabuna alayhi bis-suyuf. We get so much pleasure in our hearts, so much halawat and sweetness and lazzat that if the kings were to find out, they would attack us with swords to snatch it away from us. And this is in the hadith as well. Like Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu anhu is dragged and beaten up, tortured, but he's saying ahad, ahad. His body is in pain, but his heart is feeling that pleasure. That Sahabi who was once doing night duty, and one of the enemies came and shot an arrow at him to check if it's a man or a statue or a tree, what is it in the darkness of the night. And he was standing praying, and the arrow struck him. And he pulled that arrow out and threw it away. He shot another one. He threw that one away as well. But he was bleeding. And bleeding increased. So he quickly finished his namaz. He woke his friend up and he said, Oh bhai, there's some enemy who shot at me. And he went to see all that blood and everything. He said, Oh bhai, why did you wake me up the first time? And he said, I was reading this surah, I was there was so much lazzat and halawat in there that if it were not for the fear of the life of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahaba, I would have died, but I would have not broken my nose. He was feeling that lazzat, halawat, really. So, Ahlullah say that this halawat and lazzat is real, it's haqiqi. It's not just having a likeness for ibadat and dislikeness for sins and ma'asi. It's real halawat which you feel in your heart. When you have these three things. Now when we see our Salaf Salih, their love for Allah, amazing. Ajib, busy in ibadat, and tilawat, zikr, azkar, muraqabah, thinking about Allah, contemplating, sitting in the masjid, spending hours in the masjid. And this shows their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they couldn't get enough. They would just keep busy. Read the 70 stories at the end of Fadail Sadaqat by Hazrat Shaykh Zakariya rahmatullahi alayhi. Hazrat Shaykh Zakariya rahmatullahi alayhi talks about the Zahideen, Abideen, Zuhad. They have zuhd of dunya and concern for Akhirah, love for Akhirah. And Hazrat mentions some stories in there. For example, we mentioned the story of this Shaykh who was passing through the market and someone was selling a slave girl, because in that time they used to go through battles, wars, they used to get prisoners of war. And what do we do with those prisoners of war? We can't release them back to where they came from, otherwise they come back to attack us. We can't kill them all, this is no good, killing humanity. And we can't put them in prison for life, because then it will be burden on the taxpayer to feed them in the prison. So Islam allowed for them to be distributed among the Muslim society. They can stay with Muslims, interact with Muslims, that barrier can be broken, and when they learn Islam, they fall in love with Islam, they also become Muslim, and they also become worthy of Jannah. And when hadith says, عَجِبَ اللَّهُ لِقَوْمٍ يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ فِي السَّلَاسِلِ. Allah will be surprised at some people who will enter Jannah in chains. No one enters Jannah in chains. But what it means is they were brought in chains to Darul Islam, and they stayed with Muslims, interacted with Muslims, they embraced Islam, and then they became Jannatis. So this slave girl who was prisoner of war but soul, and she became Muslimah, and she was very devout, ibadat was our worshipper. So she had become pale, weak, become frail due to excessive ibadat. Her master was selling her in the market. Anybody want this bandi, this slave girl, for 20 dirhams only? So the Sheikh passed by and said, why is she so cheap? And he said, she's pagal. She doesn't have her brain. I don't know how she's, look at her condition. So he said, okay, 20 dirham, bought her. And when night fell, the master went to sleep and she did her wudu and she stood on the musalla, and all night she kept praying salat. And at the end of the night, she was making du'as. And she said, oh Allah, I beg you for the love that you have for me, that you forgive me. I know you love me, and because of that love, forgive me. So her master woke up and he overheard the dua. And he said, oh Pagli, you dua mangna nahi aata. You don't know how to make dua. How do you know Allah loves you? You should say, oh Allah, I beg you because of the love I have for you that you forgive me. How do you know that Allah loves you and you're saying because of the love you have for me? And she said, oh, how distant you are from Allah. If Allah did not love me, He would not put me on the musalla and you on the bed. This is a sign Allah loves me. And then she said, oh Allah, my condition was hidden, concealed. Now you exposed my condition. I don't want to stay in this world anymore. No sooner did she made this dua, suddenly she gave a scream, shriek, and died there and there. These were ushaq, lovers of Allah. And this is just one incident of that slave. You get mashayikh Allah. They're busy their time in ibadat and worship and zikr azkar. Junaid Baghdadi, Abdul Qadir Jilani, Muinuddin Chishti Ajmiri, Rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in, Sheikh Shihabuddin Shuhrawardi, Bahauddin Naqshband, Rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in, and their halqa, and those who stay in their Zawiya, Khanqa, and get this love of Allah in their hearts, connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will see the likes of them. Junaid Baghdadi Rahmatullahi alayhi says, I was resting, sleeping, and I saw in my dream Shaitan, Iblis, and we had some conversation. And in that conversation, he said, Junaid, you are thinking about Ahlullah. If you want to see Ahlullah, go to Masjid Shoni's. There are Ahlullah sitting there, they have broken my back. So Junaid Baghdadi says, I stood up, I went to Masjid Shoni's, and I see there are 3 mashayikh in every corner of the masjid. And he mentioned the names Abu Hassan al-Shazili, Abu Hassan al-Funa, Abu Hassan al-Karhi, whatever the names were. And he says, as I entered the masjid was empty, it was night time, tahajjud time. They were busy in their muraqabah and azkar and awrad. And suddenly, one of them, lifted his head and he said, Junaid, us khabis ki baat par tawajjuh nahi diya karte. Don't pay attention to that khabis's talk. Now, how did he know that Junaid Baghdadi had seen that dream and that's why he'd come to the masjid? This was kashf, revealed by Allah, opened by Allah on their hearts. So their connection with Allah, and Allah used to bless them with so much. So we see that in the life of Sahaba, Tabi'in, how they had their confidence. Hassan Basri Rahmatullah alayhi, he used to have his majlis at night after Isha, and in that masjid, the only thing they would be talking about, Allah, Rasul, Akhirat, Jannah, Jahannam, Qabr, and they would be crying, sobbing like babies. If someone came to ask a masla in that majlis, Hassan Basri Rahmatullah alayhi would say, oh bhai, we sit in the masjid all day for masla masail. Could you not wait? We were just here for a little bit of time after the Isha to talk about Allah, Rasul, Akhirat, soften our hearts and increase our connection with Allah, love for Allah, Rasul, and you come and interrupt us here. So these were the mashayikh. They had that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with Rasulullah, they were ashiq Rasul. Sahaba, they sacrificed everything for Rasulullah. Everything, their mal, their time, their lives, everything for the sake of Allah. You read their stories, how women, ladies. Sayyiduna Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, in his Khilafat era, few years after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's on one of his nightly rounds. And then this old lady in Medina Sharif, in the moonlight, she's weaving her wool, making some strings with it. And she's singing a poetry. على محمد صلاة الأبرار صلى عليه الطيبون الأخيار يا ليت شعري والمنايا أطوار هل يجمعني وحبيبي الدار. May the salat of Abrar and pious people descend upon Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May all the good people around the world and akhyar send their salat and salam and blessings and peace upon Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. قد كنت صواما بكاء بالأسحار. Oh Muhammad, you used to fast a lot and you used to cry a lot at night, at suhoor time for your ummah. Ya Rabbi ummati ummati. You used to cry for your ummah. Ya layta shi'ri wal manaya atwar. How I wish I knew while death is going to approach each and every one of us, one after the other. هل يجمعني وحبيبي الدار. Will I be gathered with my Habib in Darul Akhirat or not? She meant to say, if I die with Iman, I can see my beloved and stay with him in Jannah, close to him. But if my iman goes away, I won't be able to go with him. I wish I knew for certain whether I will be able to be with him in Darul Akhirat or not. Now this old lady, she loves Rasulullah so much. She's doing her work and she's remembering her beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Like our ladies, we would remember our children, our son who's gone to university, who's gone abroad. We think about them, we remember them. This lady is remembering Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam while she's doing her work. Extreme love. And you see in the lifetime how they sacrifice themselves. You hear the story of that Sahabi. He comes to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and says, Ya Rasulullah, this question keeps bugging me. He said, in this world, we are so fortunate to have you around us. When we feel a little bit, down, we just come here, we remember you, we see your face, and we feel so nice. Now, when we go to Jannah, you will be somewhere high up in Jannatul Firdaus, I will be somewhere down there. I won't be able to see you, I won't be able to meet you. What good is that Jannah where we can't see you? Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't give any answer. He remained silent. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala immediately sent Sayyiduna Jibreel Ameen alayhi salatu wassalam with the verse of Surah An-Nisa. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِم مِّنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا ذَلِكَ الْفَضْلُ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَكَفَىٰ بِاللَّهِ عَلِيمًا. Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called him over and he said, look, Allah said this verse down. And then he explained that inshallah we will be together in Jannah. You will be able to see me in Jannah as well. Inshallah we will all have special da'wat in the Jannah of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And we will see him inshallah. We will go to his Jannah. We will meet and greet because Jannah life is identical to this worldly life. Just that it's on another level. As we meet one another over here, we will meet one another there. As we eat, drink, and enjoy our lives here, we will enjoy in Jannah, but on another level. So this is their love for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They used to compose poetry. Hassan ibn Thabit's poetry, وَأَحْسَنَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَرَ الطَّعِينِ وَأَجْوَدَ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَلِدِ النِّسَاءُ خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبِ كَأَنَّكَ قَدْ خُلِقْتَ كَمَا تَشَاءُ. And then he said in one poetry, Ajib, had kar diya tha Hassan ibn Thabit. وَمَا فَقَدَ الْمَاضُونَ مِثْلَ مُحَمَّدٍ وما فقد الماضون مثل محمد ولا مثله حتى القيامة يفقد. Those in the past have never lost anyone like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nor will anyone in future lose anyone like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the best. No one can be like him. And then you have their poetry. When he died, Sufyan ibn Harith said, أرقت وبعد ليلي لا يزول وليل أخي المصيبة فيه طول فقدنا الوحي والتنزيل فينا يروح به ويغدو جبرائيل نبي كان يجل الشك عنا بما يوحى إليه وما يقول أفاطم إن جزعت فلاك عذر وإن لم تجزعي فهو السبيل فقبر أبيك سيد كل قبر فقبر أبيك سيد كل قبر وفيه سيد الناس الرسول. This is Abu Sufyan ibn al-Harith, his cousin, composing poetry in praise of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Sahaba used to compose poetry. They used to read in front of him. He used to love it. Sometimes he used to tell Hassan, compose poetry and answer to the mushrikeen, Uhjuhum. And he would say to the one who composed poetry in criticizing Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he gave the answer, هجوت محمدا فأجبت عنه وعند الله في ذاك الجزاء هجوت محمدا برا تقيا رسول الله شيمته الوفاء فإن أبي ووالدتي وعرضي لعرض محمد منكم وقاء. And he went on with his poetry. So Sahaba used to praise Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then tabi'een. And this is where comes Qasida Burda, Al-Burda. 160 couplets in there. Only 2-3 where some people find there is something wrong with it. But what about the other 158? Why do you criticize that poem just because of those two? There might be some meaning to it you don't understand. Try and understand the meaning of it. What's wrong in the poetry of محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم نبينا الآمر الناهي فلا أحد أبر في قول لا منه ولا نعم فاق النبيين في خلق وفي خلق ولم يدانوه في علم ولا كرم دع ما ادعته النصارى في نبيهم واحكم بما شئت فيه مدحا واحتكم فإن فضل رسول الله ليس له حد فيعرض عنه ناطق بفمه. What's wrong in that poetry? And beautiful composer. You read that, you increase your love for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that poet comes to mind who talks about, your beloved ones in this dunya. حب الحبائب حرمان ومندمة فالغول عاقبة للشارب الثمل. And then he talks about Zayanib, and then he said تلك الغواني وإن أخلصنا خلتها والله لسنا بريئات من الدخل. And then he goes on to say ابرأ إلى كل حب من محبته وثق بحب رسول الله واتكل فحبه الآية الكبرى لمغتنم وحبه آية الإيمان فاكتمل وحبه العروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها ولا انفصام لحبل منه متصل أحبه ولذا أرجو شفاعته إن المحب من المحبوب في أملي يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على نبيك طه سيد الرسل. So this is our Salafi Salihin, and their love and ishq for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today, this has faded away from our lives. We need to increase that love. I will finish on the hadith of Sahih Bukhari, wherein Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. None of you can be a complete, perfect believer until I am more beloved to him than his father, his children, and the whole humanity. Namaz achhi, roza achha, zakat achhi, hajj achha, मगर मैं बावजूद इसके मुसलमान कामिल हो नहीं सकता, न कट मरूं जब तक ख्वाजा यसरिब की इज्जत पर खुदा शाहिद है मेरा ईमान कामिल हो नहीं सकता. ईमान कामिल, have to sacrifice everything for Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is love for Allah and love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then love for Ahlullah, Sulaha, Ulama, Mashayikh, and then love for A'mal, which can lead us to the love of Allah and His Rasul. You have to do certain. You have to read the stories of those who loved Allah and His Rasul and bring that love in you. You have to make dua. Who taught you that dua? Allahumma rzuqni hubbak wa hubba rasulik wa hubba man yanfa'uni hubbuhu indak wa hubba amalin yuqarribuni ila hubbik. اللهم اجعل حبك أحب الأشياء إلي واجعل خشيتك أخوف الأشياء عندي واقطع عني حاجات الدنيا بالشوق إلى لقائك وإذا أقربت أعين أهل الدنيا من دنياهم فأقرر عيني من عبادتك. اللهم اجعل حبك أحب إلي من نفسي وأهلي ومن الماء البارد. So when you read these du'as, ask Allah to give you that love of Allah and His Rasul. Inshallah your love will increase. And you have to do some ibadah. On top of fara'id, you have to do some nawafil, tahajjud, ishraq, charge, awabin, the sunan before and after fara'id. You have to do some azkar, daily Quran tilawat, some azkar, daily kalma tayyibah 100 times, third kalma 100 times, istighfar 100 times, darood sharif, salat ala nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam 100 times, and increase your salat ala nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Learn the sunnats of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, follow the sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is how you will increase your love for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Read the Hikayat-e-Sahaba of Hazrat Shaykh Zakariya rahmatullahi. There is a chapter in there about Sahaba's love for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the elders, the ladies, the boys, the youngsters, how they loved Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When you read those stories, inshallah, that love will come in your heart. May Allah give me the love of Allah and His Rasul, give us all and keep us all strong on our deen and accept from us. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Allahumma lakal hamdu wa lakal shukr. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم ارزقنا حبك وحب رسولك وحب من ينفعنا حبه عندك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك. اللهم أحينا على حبك وعلى حب حبيبك صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأمتنا على حبك وعلى حب حبيبك صلى الله عليه وسلم، واحشرنا يوم القيامة على حبك وعلى حب حبيبك صلى الله عليه وسلم مع أحبائك من العلماء والصلحاء والمشايخ والأولياء يا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. There we are.